Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program. In this edition, we got this Holden Captiva. Customer contacted me. She said, I need all new brakes, but rocked up, and I don't think she does because I'm doing some looking around and, well, check it out. So as you can see straight up, these are new rear calipers. And it's hard for you to see, but these pads are in very good condition. Not to mention, you can see the paint is still on these rotors here, where a lot of the time they'll be a lot more faded, peeled off, this, that, the other, if it wasn't new. So right there, I'm thinking someone, because she's only owned the car for about 8 months, someone has done the rear pads, rotors and calipers at the same time. Perhaps didn't bleed them properly because the pedal was a little bit average, but let's take a look at the front. You tell me, does that brake pad look low to you? That looks brand new, mate. So we'll check and make sure that the brake reservoir is full, or at least has some fluid in there. Didn't feel too bad, but definitely could feel a lot better. You can see from the lighting where the brake fluid reservoir is filled to. It's not at max, it's about halfway. So we're not losing any fluid. Hardware looks good. Calipers, rotors, pads, as you see, I mean, they all look good. It only started happening recently, she said. She reckons that there's no shaking in the steering wheel, so it's not the front rotors. I did hear a squeak, however. I'm trying to nail down where exactly this squeak is coming from. So let's jump back in the car, go for a spin, and I'll see if we can't capture the sound I'm hearing. It's a very windy day though. I'm trying to work out whether or not the sound's coming from the front or the back. It happened on very slow crawl, so that's the left side. We're getting a squeak from the left. All right, so that sounds like the front left to me. Could be the rear left passenger side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head back, rip a wheel off, take a look, make sure none of those metal guides for the actual pads are touching. So definitely hear squeaking from the front left. You probably heard it when I pulled up. Yeah. Can hear some from the rear left too. The pedal doesn't feel too bad. I will run just a quick bleed through it, I reckon, just to really rule out any issues there, because sometimes when it isn't bled properly, the calipers don't retract properly because there's a bit of air behind the pistons. From there, so you can have some squeaks because the pistons can't come all the way back. What I'm thinking is this: I still think your brakes and everything are sweet. I reckon I'll pull off at least the front left, have a look, clean everything, make sure there's nothing weird going on in terms of anything stuck there, this, that, the other. From there, it'll give me a way better idea on what's going on, because sometimes actual wear indicators that are on the pads, when on installation, they can be pushed in a bit too much, so then they're touching a bit prematurely, but we'll find that out now. All right, so what I'm looking at here is everything's pretty clean in here, to be honest with you. They changed this new bushing up the back here that always goes bad on them, but we're not here for that, we're here for the brakes. Initial inspection, checking out back here, seeing if there's anything touching, anything fouling. Let's pull this caliper off. Now, keep a close eye for anything falling out, falling apart. And as you can pretty much see, everything looks to be pretty good, Nick. These are a Bremtech pad, I believe. Used them before, no issues. This blue grease here though, I wonder if that's the Bendix stuff. Check if these move. Beautiful. I think the installation of this so far seems pretty good. Alright, let's pull these pads out. See that there's no real issues. The actual brackets aren't touching. In terms of these guides, let's have a look on this one. Same thing with this. The bottom of the pad here doesn't look like it's been running on that rotor, but this rotor doesn't seem too bad. I'm going to give this a quick clean. Make sure this surface is cleaned up. Quickly give this top a clean. Same thing with this caliper. Just take 2 seconds, give it a bit of a scrub, make sure nothing's sticking. They're coming out the same distance, so it doesn't look like there's a problem there. Check it out, we've got gloves this time. You guys are killing me in the comments about not having gloves. I'm not going to re-grease these because these are moving extremely freely. Not necessary. Hit it with a little bit of brake clean. I have a feeling they resurfaced these rotors. I don't think they changed the rotors when they did the pads, as in they machined them. I'm just wiping this pad down. A lot of brake clean, wipe all the crap off. So now we're going for a completely fresh reset. So we're going to reinstall this. Little film of grease, you've seen it a million times. Now that's in. She's moving nice and free. As you can see, nice and free. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Going to give this a good solid wipe. I'm just hitting the sides here because it's got a little bit of build up. In here it builds up a lot of crap, so make sure to get this stuff out. From there, one last spray. It'll dry pretty quickly. Shut this caliper back on. Down. So this is the rear. This is what I was talking about. This is the caliper. As you can see, it's brand new. Well, not brand new, but it has been replaced. There's no way this is a factory caliper. And then you can see, if I get the torch going, you can see in there, those pads are not very low. Very dirty, yes, but not very low. So I'm gonna do exactly what I did at the front, but I'm also gonna double check all of the behind the backing plates, this, that, the other, because she said there was a grind happening when she was braking, which is the weird part. So you're not going to get a grind from the rear normally. She said it was coming from the front, but that's why I'm thinking, what's going on here? So removing this up, we're going to pull this in because this does have an electric handbrake, but the electric handbrake is in the drum, which is awesome. All right, so well, these are a little bit lower than I thought. That's weird. The rear's running out faster than the front. That's what I'm seeing. Definitely not brand new. So I'm going to pull them off. Have a look where this wear indicator, because this looks way worse than the front. So, but it's not touching the wear indicator. That's the wear indicator, it's not touching it. Almost though. These are really cheap pads. They don't have anything on the backing plate here, which I don't really like because it beds into the actual pad. As you can see, this is getting stuck on here. I'm just going to show the customer this. Alright, so we're just going to throw some pads on it. I just spoke to the customer. As you can see, they're not very low. They're about maybe 50%, but they're a really cheap pad. So, number one, they don't have the vent line in here, which essentially helps clean the pads. A lot of the time, the pads will start to fold up the material on themselves. And second point is, see, there's no backing plate on it, which means that I find the caliper really sticks into it and it doesn't let it go, where this one has one. So that's what we're going to do. Quick little clean, throw them on. Nothing wrong with the rotor. Like I said, worst case scenario, if it squeaks in, I'll come back out, but I don't think it will. I don't do this for fun to come back out twice kind of thing. So I reckon the pads were installed well, really well actually, but the pads at the back here are very cheap. You know, so you see how much meat this has on it. I don't know if it's blurry or not, but you got to remember that's relative to the wear indicator. So the wear indicator is probably going to touch in like a mil, so it's best to throw these on anyway. And what's good about doing this is, or you know, lucky for me I should say, is that this doesn't, the electric handbrake like I mentioned is in here, so going through all this, it's not like a pull the back of the motor off type thing, blah blah blah. Make sure it moves freely. I'm going to chuck this in. These do have an orientation on them, so don't mess that up. What do I mean by that? These two dots go on the outside. Chuck a bit of grease on this one out. You can see these are still perfectly fine greased, you know what I mean? That's why I didn't do the front, because that's what they look like. They were so good. So I'm going to be greasing these anyway, just because if I'm doing pads I want to make sure it gets the treatment it's going to need to last them again. Double check and tighten this one up too. Alright, so that seems good. Alright, now that this one's done, I'm going to do the other side. If I find something interesting there, I'll show you. But the other side, change the pads, go back up the front, make sure there's nothing going on there. From there, because with the front I'm going to do the same thing I did to the front left, there's no point just doing one without the other. Then we're going to go for a spin again. So, back in the vehicle, going for a spin. Pedal feels way better already, which is strange, just compressing them in and changing those rear brake pads. The front was the same, totally fine, no issues, no dramas, everything to be installed very well. So everything's been cleaned up, everything feels pretty good. I'm gonna stop a few times now, really get the pads a little bit hot. But it's like I was saying with those rear pads, it's best to kind of get a half decent pad that actually has a backing plate, that actually has the center line so you can get rid of that gas, debris, all this kind of stuff, so you don't have issues like this. Honestly, that pedal feels so different. That pedal feels so much better just from doing that, and there's nothing to really explain. Like, it just compressed the pistons in and adjusted everything. I mean, I suppose if everything's moving a lot freer, you would have a lot more of a active pedal, but it is one of those situations where that's why I go through it the way I do, and I don't just throw parts at things, because, you know, doing a whole brake job when it's totally unnecessary is a complete waste of money for so many of my customers, where they can put that money to something else. So that's not how I operate. So generally speaking, I'm doing the same kind of driving I did at the start, so then I can recreate what I already did on the initial problems. And so far it is excellent. There's no sounds, no nothing. Pedal is super responsive, great pedal feel. A few more tests, get them a little bit hotter from a different speed, then I'll do a slow crawl, shopping mall school pickup type deal. I'm on it now. No, nice and quiet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's another job done. So at the end of the day, it appears that those rear pads were the issue causing the squeak and making it a bit weird of a pedal feel. Didn't end up bleeding it, feels totally fine now. I'm gonna take it back to the customer, can confirm that they're happy with everything. And again, there's plenty of options when you work with me, because I'm not here to throw on pads and rotors, rear pads and rotors, a full bleed, this, that, the other, when, well, you saw in the video. So other than that, thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the membership section. It really helps the channel out, and there's a lot of perks coming for it. If you want to buy anything from the store, that brake ratcheting tool, hit the link here. If you want to get in contact with me, I have a Facebook page here. Send me a message. Let me know. Brisbane, Gold Coast, Ipswich area. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.